So, because I was in prison, I didn't get a chance, obviously, to see what some of the folks on the further end of the left were saying about Donald Trump. I did, see whilst in prison some RT reporting that was very pro, and then after the Syria bombing, very against. And clearly there is a sort of delusional thinking that Donald Trump is an outsider and that he somehow needs to be defended from the evil media. And this is coming from the far left and this conspiracy theorist far left. I personally, I'm a radical anarchist, first of all. Let me just put it to you. And I've been in prison, I'm a prison abolitionist, I'm queer, I'm against racism, but this is about opposing a man who's ran on a neo-fascistic platform, okay? And Democrats are not necessarily our friends in the best of times, and they're not our friends even in the worst of times, but these are worse than the worst of times. So we need some allies, and we need to begin the process to impeach this man. And also to slow down his administration's incredibly right-wing agenda. I mean, he's aligned with some of the worst elements in American society. He's aligned with white supremacists, nationalists. Neo-fascism is at the cornerstone of his agenda. And to say that he's not an insider is absurd. The man has hired and placed in positions of power multiple people from Goldman Sachs. So if I see one more post about how Wall Street is trying to take down Donald Trump, then I'm going to, I'm going to flip out because it's not true. Wall Street loves Donald Trump because he's going to try to cut their taxes so that he can, he's trying to eliminate the Affordable Health Care Act so he can cut taxes on the wealthiest 1%. I mean, hello, and he wants to cut capital gains tax. He's not an outsider. He's having a very public feud with the intelligence agencies, the spooks. The spooks and Donald Trump don't like each other because there are some shady things that go on at the upper echelons of government, and Donald Trump is not a man who knows how to handle things in a subtle fashion, okay? And so he riled up some feathers. It looks like some of his people committed perhaps it went over the line in terms of whatever ethical standards these people hold themselves to. Flynn had to resign for talking to the ambassador from Russia before before Trump was actually president, etc., etc. So there's a whole series of events here, which started with obviously the Sally Yates resignation, or rather the firing of Sally Yates, when she wouldn't support Trump's ban on Muslims. Now remember, this is a ban on people coming from mostly Muslim countries. It was a complete ban, and it was supported by Trump's entire team and driven and engineered by the neo-fascist Steve Bannon. Okay, so these are the types of policies that are coming out of the Trump White House. Let us count the ways. We've got a rollback on women's reproductive health rights through the United States AID, International Development. We've got a rollback on funding for Planned Parenthood. We've got a rollback on LGBT rights and transgendered rights in schools to use toilets, to use a bathroom, to use a restroom. One of the most basic human rights. This is rolled back by this man. We have a man who wants to replace healthcare policy that's deeply flawed, absolutely, with a far more flawed healthcare policy that would make sure that some 10 to 20 million more people didn't have health insurance so that he can give a massive tax break to those people who ostensibly are trying to get rid of him on Wall Street? Methinks not. Methinks not. This man is not an outsider. So what is leading to the impeachment proceedings? Well, obviously it's not the right-wing news. Fox News supports him, and strangely, some people on the left support him because they see this man, I don't know, why are people on the far left supporting Donald Trump? I have no idea. Could someone answer this question? Because it doesn't make any sense. He is a neo-fascist. He is run on a platform against immigrants, against women, against disabled people, against LGBT people, against people of color. His attorney general is now wanting to increase sentencing guidelines. So it's mandatory maximum sentencing for drugs, for drug crimes. I mean, we're talking about rolling back a number of hard-fought victories that we got under the Obama administration. And I'm not saying that Obama was a good person. I'm saying that we had the ability to press him in the right direction on certain issues, including the commutation of Chelsea Manning's sentence, and thank God she's out today. But that wouldn't have happened under Donald Trump. I'll tell you that right now. Donald Trump is a sick man, and he needs to be impeached. Not only is he a sick man, he's an insider. He's a neo-fascist. He's an oligarch. He wants to model himself after Putin, because Putin is all of those things. He's an oligarch. He's a sociopath. They are friends. They're close friends. They've had ties for decades, for years, going back into the 90s. Okay, so we need to understand there might be some collusion in this process. Who knows? RT is the sort of unthinking propaganda machine of Moscow. You cannot deny it. Okay, Putin is an authoritarian statist. Hello? Okay? Donald Trump is too. And these people are in positions of power which could lead to the complete obliteration of everyone on the planet. But at the same time, they are also leading fascist campaigns against gay people, against dissidents, against women. They have very similar agendas, and this is something we have to look out for, okay? Because there are very, very serious issues. I'm a radical anarchist, and I'm also a prison abolitionist, but I believe in harm reduction. Ryan Conrad, he's also an anarchist. He talks about harm reduction. And in times when the neo-fascist right is taking over, we do not have the ability to be ideologically pure. Okay, we must align ourselves with those centrist voices, with those somewhat progressive voices, with the center-left, and we must put pressure so that we can impeach President Donald Trump, not because Donald Trump is a despicable creature, but although he is, but because we need to slow down the agenda of his administration. And I think Pence is also implicated in this as well. So this investigation needs to happen, and this impeachment needs to happen in order to slow down, stop, and halt the policies coming out of this fascist White House, which include an attack on women, gay people, disabled people, etc., etc., the mother of all bombs being dropped. Yes, this is an expansion of authoritarianism under a neo-fascist regime in the fashion of Putin, Erdogan, etc. This is an international phenomenon, and Donald Trump has a great amount of power as the President of the United States, and he must be impeached. That power must be taken away from him. We must continue to organize, we must continue to fight, and we must say no to this fascist agenda at the same time as fighting to abolish the entire apparatus that put him there.